Thank you so much. Just want to thank Peg so much and Studio 333 for hosting us, and the rest of the wonderful readers. It is such a privilege to read with you. I have to do a little setup. I'm going to read from the middle of my book, The Expectations. This book takes place at a prestigious boarding school in New England in 1994. And so the people we're following in the book are Ben Weeks. His family actually helped start the school in the 1800s, but his parents have lost their money and can't pay his tuition. His roommate is Ahmed Al-Khaled, the son of a newly wealthy Dubai sheikh. I am matching the theme of wilderness by saying that Ahmed comes to this school trying to kind of navigate the rules that the students have put into place and kind of trying to thread his way through that very unfamiliar territory for him. And as he's trying to do this, with his wealth, with his enthusiasm, he continually kind of runs afoul of these codes that the students have put in place. Most specifically, he has walked out of a hazing ritual in the middle. And the older students in the dorm, most specifically Ennis, in their frustration and talking sort of about how to handle this situation, how to handle this violation that Ahmed has perpetrated, Ben, to sort of secure his own social position, suggests that the older students might want to do something about Ahmed's stepping out of line. And so in the scene just before the one I'm going to read, at the post office at the center of the campus, as the whole school has come to check their mailboxes in the late morning, sort of the ultimate see and be seen kind of moment during the day at the school, Ennis, this older student, has come up to Ahmed with his face covered, taken him in a headlock, and shaved a stripe of hair off of his head. And so we join the two of them as Ben is bringing Ahmed back to the dorm room and trying to figure out what the two of them should do next. Even though Ben was hardly touching Ahmed, just lightly holding his upper arm, he felt like he was dragging him up the dorm stairs. They pushed into the room and dropped their book bags, and Ahmed came down into his desk chair. He looked totally blank, as though he were coming out of sedation after surgery. His longer hair lay over the bare strip, but there was a disturbing lack of volume there, as though Ahmed's head had a deep dent in it. Ben had expected the older guys to put something disgusting in Ahmed's bed, or to throw mugs of ice water on him in the shower. Stay there. Ben left and came back with Jed's hair clipper. We have to do it all the way. Ahmed saw the clipper. No, we have to. How are you going to go around like that? It is not meaningless. In Islam, there are only certain times for that. And if my father sees, he's not going to see you. We're going to cut this now so that it looks even, and then you'll have months to let it grow in before you go home. It'll be fine. And you never pray anyway. But I should. You have to cut it. Ben imagined Ahmed walking into the dining hall, trying to maintain that uprightness with this dent along his head. Ben pulled Ahmed to his feet and walked him over to stand in front of the full-length mirror on the back of the door. Look, Ahmed. Hairs lined Ahmed's collar and lay trapped in the fibers of his sweater. Ahmed held back his hair so he could see the entire empty swath. He knew he looked just as foolish as they had wanted him to look. His forehead, cheeks, and lips grew heavier. It was painful for them to see. Well, Ahmed paused. If there is a reason. Ben folded back the corner of the carpet, then moved the chair to the bare floor in front of the mirror, and Ahmed sat. After a moment of thought, Ben draped one of his own towels over Ahmed's shoulders to catch the hair. He plugged the clipper into the low outlet by the door. Ahmed's face had set. Ben flipped the switch on the side of the clipper, and it whirred warmly. Ben set the plate of the trimmer against the right side of Ahmed's forehead, and as he pushed the blade through, the hair fell away with thrilling ease. Ahmed's eyes were closed as the hair passed across them. It fell onto Ahmed's shoulders, his lap, the slim edge of the chair behind his back, the floor. The machine was quieter when there was hair in it, and so it got momentarily loud when it passed through the empty patch. Ben saw that he had to shave against the grain to get the proper shortness, and he worked the edges of the clipper around Ahmed's ears, like getting the knife in the leg joint the time his dad let him carve the turkey. He made several passes over the back corners of the skull, where the hair grew in a swirl, and longer pieces kept sticking up no matter what he did. The skin was getting red where he had worked it over again and again. Ben finally had to accept that this was going to be Ahmed's hair. His inability to make Ahmed look better, less haphazard, made his throat close. He pictured Ennis laughing jaggedly with Fitz and Ian. Ahmed looked like a tired monk wearing someone else's beautiful sweater. Ben switched off the clipper, and Ahmed touched his head gingerly, as though it might burn his fingers. Then, with a new familiarity, he passed his hand over his scalp, back and forth, and even though his face stayed grim, Ben thought he had to partially relish the new sensation. "I'm sorry, Ahmed. Usually I like having my hair cut." He kept feeling his head. The air moves. They both stayed quiet, and Ahmed turned to look at himself from the left side, then the right, then left, then right again. Already he had grown incrementally more used to it. Finally, he moved his eyes from his own face to Ben's eyes. Ben looked ashamed. "Have I been doing a bad job?" Ahmed asked. Ben tilted his head to one side. "A bad job of knowing how to be?" Ben thought about how to put it. "Please, help me improve." "You're doing better, Ahmed. Please, help me." Ahmed had endured enough for one day. "You're doing well, really." Ahmed undressed to take a shower. In his towel, with his back turned to Ben and his bare shoulders covered in short hairs, Ben saw what he would look like as an older man. Ben got the broom from the staff closet and swept up the hair. He moved the smaller and smaller piles onto a manila folder and then into the trash. When he was done, he stared into the wastebasket, and it looked like Ahmed's proud head was down in there. Thank you so much.